vaccines with that type of efficacy and clean safety profiles.
The U.S. is battling record high case numbers with 1 million new infections reported in the last week alone. Local officials cracking down. Michigan's governor suspending indoor dining and ending in-person learning at high schools and colleges.
We are in the worst moment of this pandemic to date. The situation has never been more dire.
In El Paso, Texas, haunting images show prison inmates helping to wheel the dead out of the medical examiner's office into mobile morgues. 36-year-old Kelly Meeker from Minnesota has a warning for others. She's been hospitalized for over a month and was just recently taken off a ventilator.
I've heard a lot of stories of people telling me that they've had COVID, but it wasn't very bad. It was just a mild cold. But I'm just here to say that it can be much more serious.
HHS Secretary Azar tells ABC News vaccines could be distributed to 20 million people by the end of the year, with the most vulnerable populations getting them first. But experts say widespread vaccination could take months. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
New York's Democratic Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand also calling on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to put a robust COVID-19 relief bill on the Senate floor as soon as possible. Over the weekend, the Senate Minority Leader said even President Trump wants a coronavirus bill.
The Republican Senate refuses to move forward on any kind of COVID bill that has any kind of relief for the American people. And now with even President Trump saying we need a big bill, we are urging McConnell to re-examine his position and work in a bipartisan way with Democrats and support the kind of COVID bill that meets the needs of New York and the needs of the American people.
Last week, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell also endorsed an economic stimulus plan. Many are hoping for a potential relief package that would help the unemployed, renters, homeowners, small businesses, state and local governments, healthcare institutions, and schools. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo threatening legal action against the Trump administration if the COVID vaccine is not distributed fairly once it's approved. The governor says he sees no other choice if a vaccine for COVID-19 becomes available and is not distributed properly by the current administration.
Polls say 50% of the American people say they would not take the vaccine if it were available today because they don't trust the way this federal government has politicized the process. So New York and other states, 7 in total, will simultaneously review the vaccine approval with independent medical experts so people know it's safe.
On Saturday, the governor said more than 1,800 people were hospitalized for COVID across his state and 30 people had died. Texas Representative Bill Flores is participating in trials to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. The retiring District 17 representative said on Facebook over the weekend that he received the second injection of an experimental vaccine as part of the phase 3 study for one of the vaccine candidates. He went on to say, quote, "I have great faith in American science, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and Operation Warp Speed to produce and distribute safe and effective vaccines." Waco Mayor Kyle Deaver leaves office this week after a term in office that brought some serious challenges. As 25 News reporter Dennis Turner shows us, the mayor became well acquainted with one of those challenges early on.
Before he became mayor of Waco, before he sat on the city council, Kyle Deaver served on the Waco Plan Commission, guiding the city's future by managing development. His first lesson, city planning is a people business.
You know, I think in that situation, it's mostly just starting to understand the procedure and listening to constituents when they come to state their case, whether it's the applicant or somebody that is opposed to what's being proposed, and trying to learn how to process that information, because that can be challenging.
During his time on the Waco Plan Commission, Deaver got a close-up look at what would become Waco's biggest challenge, growth that took off at a pace that no one had anticipated.
But we were really in a good position to take advantage of the growth that came primarily from Chip and Joanna. And, you know, let's just say it, they've been fantastic for our city, and they have been good corporate citizens. Nobody saw that coming, or at least nobody I know saw that coming. Maybe they did. I don't think they did. But what a boon to our city. We had a lot of other things working, and we've got, we've still got development coming on the river. The fact that East Waco, and particularly Elm Avenue, is about to revitalize in a way that could be really exciting, and we're putting a lot of resources into it, but we've got to be sure that we do it in a way that is equitable and so that the neighborhood doesn't feel left out.
Nor, he says, should any Waco neighborhood get left out of important decisions that affect lives. In our next report, the life-threatening challenge Waco faced and why Mayor Deaver felt he had to step in, take charge, and some say, run part of the Central Texas response to COVID. At Waco City Hall, Dennis Turner, 25 News.
Dennis, thank you. Well, results are in as President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris continue planning for transition. Plus, the holiday season is in full swing, but this year, just like everything else, your Santa pictures will look a little different.
And plenty of sunshine out there as we head towards this lunchtime hour in Central Texas. Start of a quiet weather pattern. I'll let you know how long it hangs around coming up. Thanks for staying with us here on 25 News Midday. If you woke up early this morning, you felt the first freeze of the season in parts of Central Texas. Officially, Waco and Temple dropped below the freezing mark. They hit 32 around 4:51 a.m. Our average first freeze is November 22nd, so we're running about 6 days ahead of average with our first freeze occurring this morning. In some areas, it dropped even colder than that. 31 was the low this morning in Waco, 30 in Temple. Gatesville, you hit the freezing mark as well. A hair above it in Killeen. So Killeen not yet having an official freeze. Neither in Hearn, 33 there in Hearn. And there was a sensor out in Leon County that picked up the 20s earlier today. So it was a cold start to the day. You bring back the sunshine, the dry air though, and temperatures have rebounded quite nicely. 63 right now in Killeen with your dew point at 29. That is desert dry air in place. If you're having some chapped lips, maybe some dry skin, that would be why. Have the lotion, have the Carmex ready as well. Temperatures have rebounded in the mid-60s pretty much everywhere. 64 in Waco, Temple, 62 in Killeen, 65 right now in Bryan College Station, 66 in Hearn and Fairfield. And again, those dew points are in the 20s. So as we go through the rest of the afternoon, the temperatures should be climbing up into the 70s. But later on this evening, those temperatures will tank quickly again. 61 at 6 o'clock, but we'll be down to the 40s by 10 o'clock. We're expecting lows to once again fall down into the 30s outside across Central Texas. Maybe in some areas staying in the lower 40s. I don't think we see another freeze, but some of the lower lying river valleys could drop into the mid 30s. Then tomorrow we've got another nice day on the way. Lower 70s coming up. Clear skies on radar here in Central Texas. Show you the wide view and you'll see across the nation there's really not much going on. Storm track is sitting up to the north, so you had the big storms that we're seeing in New York yesterday. Now another system there towards Minnesota, another one back there towards Washington, but they're way to the north. And so we've got a bunch of clear skies overhead, and that's going to be continuing through the week. Meanwhile, this is what's happening in the Caribbean. Hurricane Iota, and it is a big one. Now a Category 5 storm as of the latest advisory, 160 mile per hour winds. Look how much it amped up overnight. Went from Category 2 to Category 4 to Category 5 in about 12 hours. Insane is strengthening happening with that storm. It's going to be making landfall later on tonight along the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. Same area that was ravaged by Eta earlier a couple of weeks ago. 165 mile per hour winds were expected to make landfall with and tracking right near Eta's track in the blue there. Same area is going to get the same experience from this storm. So we need to keep those folks in our thoughts and prayers as we go through the night. Meanwhile, it's going to be quiet here. Our next rain chance won't be occurring until we head towards the end of the week on into the weekend. That's when we'll get another cold front to come in, bringing us some nice rain chances as we start off the new week. 72 Tuesday, 74 coming up on Wednesday, upper 70s through Friday and Saturday. And then look what happens for the weekend. 74 Sunday, that next front comes in, 40% chance of storms. And it looks like we may be starting off next week in the 60s.
All right, looking good, man, right?
Absolutely.
There's a hodgepodge of weather for everyone.
Yeah, just
warm, cold.
Everything.
Yeah.
Tropics, too.
Except the extreme heat. Those people, sorry.
Yeah, we're done with that, I think. Yeah. I hope.
All right, Josh, thank you. ABC News and other news organizations have now projected the winner of the election in all 50 states. President-elect Joe Biden projected to win 306 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 232 and ahead by more than 5.5 million in the popular vote. But Biden's transition team says they're getting no help from the current administration in smoothly transferring power to the incoming Biden White House. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is in Washington, D.C. with the latest.
With President Trump still refusing to accept that he's lost re-election, some government agencies are not cooperating and coordinating with President-elect Joe Biden's transition to the new administration. Biden's team is being prevented from receiving sensitive and classified national security information. On NBC, his new chief of staff warning it could obstruct COVID-19 vaccine preparations.
Our experts need to talk to those people as soon as possible so nothing drops in this change of power we're going to have on January 20th.
As COVID-19 cases hit record numbers in parts of the country, members of the White House Coronavirus Task Force say President